Gordon Kahl was a tax protester generally. I mean, that's just kind of, he was a member of a group called the Posse Comitatus, and they didn't believe in paying taxes. They didn't recognize the federal government as, as having the, any authority over them. They only recognized the county sheriff as having the authority to have law enforcement, the ability to perform law enforcement duties and to have any type of authority in that area. So they pretty much ignored, everything else. Well, it finally caught up to them, and they were indicted for income tax evasion and a couple other things. And when the U.S. Marshals went out to arrest them, I think there was 4 deputy U.S. Marshals and a U.S. Marshal, Ken Muir, and this was in Medina, North Dakota. And then 4 local law enforcement officers went with them as well. Fairly rural area of North Dakota, extremely rural. And they followed his car along with 2 other people in it to kind of a remote area on a highway in North Dakota, and they stopped it. And Gordon Kahl and his son, and I forget the name of the other individual, pretty much came out with rifles, and there was a short standoff, and then there was a shot fired from, I think, Gordon Kahl's son, who the first shot hit Bob Cheshire, who died later on, and before he could get medical care. And then during that shootout, there was almost all the law enforcement people, I think maybe except one, were shot and wounded, and the marshal, Ken Muir, was killed along with Bob Cheshire. Gordon Kahl's son was wounded pretty severely, and then Kahl got in the vehicle and left. And of course his son was apprehended at the site, spent some time in the hospital, and received I'm not sure, maybe a life sentence. And then as a result of that, there was a warrant was issued for his arrest for the murder of federal officers. And over the next 6 months, there was thousands of leads covered in the United States. And I remember even in Little Rock, prior to us finding out he was in Smithville, Arkansas, we ran several leads, that were forwarded to our office, from the task force who had set up in North Dakota, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and the state police and a number of other agencies. And one of our deputies that was stationed in Jonesboro, Arkansas, got a lead. Went to Smithville, interviewed some folks, and finally interviewed some people that worked in a bank and showed his picture, and they verified that he was living with a family in a very rural setting. The house was built into the side of a hill, just the front of it showed, block brick house. These people were also had similar beliefs, tax protesters, anti-government. So when we went down to the house and set up a perimeter and tried to get them to come out, a shootout took place. Gordon Kahl fired the first shot and hit the sheriff of the county, and he was rushed to the hospital but died later on. And then Kahl was killed in the shootout as well. So, it's kind of, the whole thing was a tragedy, and it just, it was a significant issue for the Marshal Service, and it's still talked about today, because of the deaths of the deputy U.S. Marshal. But, it's, you want to be part of that, the apprehending part of it, because you want to be. But at the same time, you feel bad because of the tragedy side of it.